Hi, everybody. I am Justus Otto. I'm a graduate from the University of Alberta with a degree in commerce, majored in finance. And today I'm doing a C2C with Kamyar, who is a third year petroleum engineering student at the University of Alberta. So, Kamyar, my first question is, what is one thing that you wish more people knew about our natural resources in Canada specifically?
Hey, Justice. Hey, everyone. Thank you for your time. So, for the first question, I believe that more people should know about the role of natural resources, Canadian natural resources, in their day to day life. And they basically need to know how essential it is. Like right now, the current trend of the world is towards some maybe some feasible and mostly non-feasible options to replace Canadian natural resources. But the thing that most of people do not think about is how essential it is and how expensive and lengthy would be the basically the alternative ways to approach. So I think people need to know the importance of Canadian natural resources from the moment they wake up in the morning until they go to sleep. We are pretty much, there's a very strong tie between everything and all of the needs, uh, between the needs and the Canadian natural resources.
Yeah, do you see a lot in your school like it's not a subject that's talked about a lot is the importance of our natural resources?
It's a little bit hard to tell, Justice, but honestly, like I see a lot of students try to go with the current trend of the world, what is like mostly being published in the media, and what they see in the TV and what they read in the internet. So yeah, I would say maybe there could be more education towards students in order to make them aware of how important the energy sector is in Canada and for the world, especially nowadays that we are dealing with different challenges. We're dealing with different important stuff in the world. So and now we need energy more than ever now, and this need is gonna grow throughout the years to come. So yeah, I think a little bit of more education is needed, even for the secondary students as well. So, what was the motivation, when you decided to pursue a career directly related to the energy sector? What was that main motivation? What were you thinking about when you decided to, with a business degree, you decided to get into the energy sector?
I mean, I think what I mostly mainly think about when it comes to the energy sector is probably like you were just saying, like the importance of it is huge, right? And something that, a lot of people don't see is like what goes on behind the scenes to make everything happen. Like what goes on behind the scenes to, turn the lights on in their home or work the appliances in their home. It's really not. I think a lot of people think that it's a very simple process, and you see with like the transition, a lot of people think it's like this easy solution, like we can switch off oil and gas and then go directly over to the next big thing, right? And it's really not that easy when you actually get down to the logistics of it and the fact that you actually have to be able to make money doing it for people to want to be able to switch over to these new technologies. And that's the thing that's most fascinating to me is discovering, like being able to work with these companies that are trying to find new ways to produce energy. I think that's the most fascinating thing because energy really is the lifeblood of advanced society. Like if you can't have a strong country or a strong society without abundant energy and cheap energy and affordable energy that can get people from place to place. So I think just the general like importance of it to society is what got me interested in the sector and why I'm probably still interested in it today. So my next question for you, um, so I guess what would you say to someone your age who's hesitant to make a career in energy, specifically in Canada?
Yeah, so see, Justice, the thing is, energy industry and basically all of the career is related to the natural resources and providing energy, as good as they are, as rewarding as they are, as important as they are, still it's not for everyone, right? Because there are some challenges that you will deal with when it comes to the energy sector, energy industry. Um, like the basic one is like a lot of times you need to be away from the family, you need to be in remote locations, so, and also, you can extend it to the sudden changes that might happen to the market with like any kind of political changes in the world. And, I try to find like why they are hesitant about it, right? So if it's like something personal, yeah, like I don't want to be away from my family, or I don't know, I don't want to have a risky job. I want to have a stable job for the years to come, and that does not change whether this country is dealing with a war, or that country just had a some kind of election, because all of these things can change the oil price of the world. So I try to find the roots of that hesitancy. But if I find out that the person is just basically uh, not educated enough or doesn't know enough about the energy sector, but has the potential and has all of the tools to excel in that career, I try to maybe kind of make them familiar with the current situation and how much we need young people starting a career in the energy sector, especially in this country. And I just try to tell them how good it is and how better it can be with like young professionals like themselves.
Yeah, I think that the how much better it can be is a really good point too. That can get a lot of people on board with an industry, like because a lot of people I know like think that oil and gas and the energy industry like as it was, and obviously as it was is as it was. Like you're gonna be constantly evolving an industry as it goes along. Like there's no way we're going back to the way things were 10 years ago, even like 5 years ago. Industries constantly evolve and oil and gas is no different. But I think like it makes it really exciting to be a part of it, the fact that it's going through so much change right now. So I really like your response to that for sure.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay. So for the next question I have for you. So, we have a lot of things going on right now. A lot of regulations are changing, and a lot of new movements are emerging. So, with that said, if you could change one thing about the Canadian oil and gas industry, especially in the current situation, what would it be, and why would you change that?
I mean, I think one of the biggest problems when it comes to Canadian oil and gas is not, with the way that things are run or with like the way that, like they have evolved. I think one of the main issues comes with how they market themselves and the image that they project. I think especially with young people, like the people that I know, look at Canadian oil and gas as like big oil. Like these are companies that like are only out for profits, and there's no real like small players like just trying to make their way. It's not really an entrepreneurial mindset that people see. And I think that's why a lot of people are turned away from the industry. When you think of mom and pop or like small business, you don't think of oil and gas because of, all the costs and stuff to get things started. But I think if Canadian oil and gas could change their image to see like this is an entrepreneurial like this is an entrepreneurial industry. It's not just like a bunch of old dudes sitting around a boardroom anymore. Like it's not that way anymore. It's a lot more entrepreneurial. there's a lot more people that can just make a career in oil and gas. And I think that's what a lot of young people don't see. And I think that, you know, I would say that like Canadian oil and gas companies have done like a poor job in the past of marketing themselves to young people, especially. And I think that's kind of the thing that is holding them back a lot lately, especially with getting new talent. So I think that's the one thing I would change for sure.
Very good. And so based on what you said, oil and gas from just basically, an industry focused on just the technical aspects, it's kind of turning into some kind of interdisciplinary industry, and people from all areas could be a part of this big thing, could be a part of this big and great industry. So I think it's fair to say that students and graduates from all of the areas, business, from law, from, I don't know, even arts, maybe, science, and also engineering, all of them can come and contribute to the great changes that are happening. As you said, we have a lot of marketing problems. We've had it, for a long time. The way we are showing ourselves, showing the industry to people, and I think young professionals, young experts, they can change a lot of things about regarding that.
Yeah, for sure. Especially, and I'm a big marketing guy too. So I think there's a lot of potential for marketing opportunities in oil and gas because I mean, if there's any industry that has a PR problem, I would say it's oil and gas for sure. So so my next question for you is about your degree because you know you see a lot of hesitancy. We'll cut that out. You see a lot of hesitancy nowadays with students wanting to go into petroleum engineering. You even see some universities like taking it off the table as a subject to study. So what made you have the mindset to want to power through that and just go in it anyway? And how did where did you see the potential where others really didn't see it?
Well, yeah, it's a very, very good question. And as you mentioned, unfortunately, U of A is the only university in Canada right now that is offering petroleum engineering, which is like basically the driving force of oil and gas exploration and extraction and production. There's only U of A right now. U of C, unfortunately, they had oil and gas engineering program and they shut it down last year, which I really, really don't see a reason why they did that, but it happened unfortunately. And so for myself, well, my background, Justice, I don't really want to get into my background because that doesn't really mean anything. People can be from different backgrounds, but their current ideas could be absolutely different from what their background was. But my family is basically my dad has been working in oil and gas industry for the past 30 years, right? So, and I'm originally from Middle East, so I was always dealing with, all of the news and everything surrounding the hydrocarbon resources and everything, because we have an abundance resources there. So in Canada, when I basically the first time I came to Canada, I was thinking of getting into a university that offers something that could, put me in the game, put me in the industry. And my initial choice was chemical engineering. I wanted to focus on the pipeline aspect of the job more than that, and the analysis, the refinery. But then one thing that really, really was important for me in making a decision to get into petroleum engineering was the abundancy of the resources we have here. It's like we have a lot of resources here. It's very, very important. Like if I was living in a European country, somewhere in South America, or maybe even United States, I wouldn't really be keen about petroleum engineering as much as I am right now. But we are like, for God's sake, we're like top three. Uh, uh, we have one of the top three biggest reserves in the whole world after Venezuela and I believe Saudi Arabia. We are the third one. And that is very important for the years to come. This country could be something way better than it is right now, using those resources in the right way. And I saw the potential in myself to make a change, to get in the game, get into the career, get into the business, and kind of use whatever I learn, all of my experiences that I'm going to gain throughout the years to make it a better industry for everyone and for this country. And, big picture is for the whole world. It's not only beneficial for the Canada, it can be beneficial for a lot of other countries that were not privileged enough to have these resources. And yeah, I just saw the opportunity. And when I was choosing because in U of A, after the first year of engineering, you have to fill a discipline form, and based on your GPA, you get into the disciplines you've chosen. And my first and second choice was petroleum engineering. So I was not forced into it. It was absolutely my first choice. And yeah.
Well, that's a really cool story. And yeah, it just shows like how lucky we are to be in Canada and to have the opportunity to, have so many careers available when it comes to natural resources. Like there's an abundance, even if you're not in oil and gas, like multiple different disciplines related to natural resources that you can go into. It's honestly it's something that I think a lot of young people don't even know about, the fact that we just have so much across this entire country that is available. So definitely.
Let's go to the next question here. So, here, this one is a little bit of a different question. This is really important for me to know what other peers in the industry think about this matter. But do you think that like the U.S. government is affecting the production rate of the Canadian oil industry? And if yes, how do you think the Canadian energy providers should approach this matter?
Yeah, it's an interesting question, and I was thinking about it a lot, like recently, especially with like the Sierra Week and like all the producers coming together in Texas to talk about this stuff. And I think, you know, I think it's not really healthy to sort of put blame on the US for the issues of us not getting our products out to market. I don't think the blame should be on US decisions or really any foreign country's decisions on what we do with our resources, because I think the fact is the world needs Canada's resources, and there's no one out there stopping Canada from sending its resources other than itself. Canada is the only country that can make decisions for or against resource projects. And yes, obviously, with the Keystone pipeline, that's an issue by itself. And I think you can point and fingers and blame the US for that project not going ahead. But the fact is that, there's a lot of projects and a lot of different ways that Canada can get its products out to world markets. And between the time that Keystone was proposed and between when it was canceled, Canada really did nothing in terms of, for example, like the LNG market. Like Canada had a huge opportunity to get ahead of the game in terms of LNG and getting that product out to market, which, by the way, is a cleaner fuel for the future, which should be a market that has a huge amount of investment in Canada and should be something for the future that we're promoting. There's plenty of different opportunities other than the US for Canada to get its products internationally. I don't think that Canada should rely on the US for anything. I think Canada can make its own like what's the word? I use this a lot when I was like in sports, is like make your own luck. Like a lot of it is luck and a lot of it is markets, especially when it comes to resources and commodities. Like you pick the time, and if you're right, you're right. If you're wrong, you're wrong. And I think that Canada needs to make some of its own luck and get out there and start producing, get out there and start building infrastructure to, across all industries, like not just like oil and gas, like across like, our wood and lumber, like agriculture, all that. Like Canada needs to be a world leader in terms of resources because, like you said, we're so abundant in all of them. Why should we not be a world leader? And I think that Canada doesn't sit at the world table and say that they are. And I think that's one of the main issues is that Canada doesn't believe in itself in terms of being a resource leader. So that would be my response to that. I don't think Canada needs the US. I mean, obviously we do, they're our biggest trading partner, but I don't think we need the US to push us along in order to build our own, energy and resource infrastructure. I think we can do it ourselves.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was a very, very good answer. That's what my personal, opinion is regarding this matter. And I believe that, as you said, unfortunately, could be way better in regards to becoming a leader in oil and gas industry and energy sector. Um, yeah, and it is very, very important not to rely on any third parties when it comes to, developing your own country, when it comes to developing your own country's industry and business. You have to use your own potentials, and this country has more than enough potentials for that. We have more than enough. You have a lot of experts living here who are willing to, be a part of it, any day. But unfortunately, I see that, uh, you know, it's a really sad thing to say, but I see last year, four of my friends dropped out of program to switch into another programs, and I know another guy who is a graduate of petroleum engineering and is working in a totally different industry right now, and that's all because the infrastructure could be way better and could be, way more reliable for those people to excel in the energy industry. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I think, if we allow that to flourish, I think we'd see, a lot better Canada. So this is going to be the last question, I think, here because we're a little short on time. But um, I guess my last question be, so how do you think we can promote Canadian oil and gas to a younger generation going forward? And specifically, what do you think needs to change about the industry? So we asked a bit about what I think. What do you think about it?
So basically, what SFC is doing right now could be a very, very good example. Trying to attract interest of other people, educating other people, and letting them know about how important it is, what are the great potential, and how life-saving, how rewarding could be a career in oil and gas industry and energy sector generally. And yeah, just by maybe more, I would say, more platforms, social media, informing people, letting people like more events, letting people know how important it is, and that the industry, oil and gas industry, is not like the big evil industry of the world. It's not like that. It's life saving. Whatever you do here, whatever you do in your life has some kind of relation with the energy sector. Without the energy, we can't do anything. We cannot survive one day without energy. Just imagining this country in Canada, how would we survive without energy during the winter time, during the hard winters of Canada? It's very, very crucial. And people just, I think what we are doing right now, I think we need more support from different, big players in the industry, for SFC and for the similar organizations, to just basically promote ourselves, promote our industry, promote the natural resources of our country. And yeah, I think that could be one thing that needs to be changed, just promoting ourselves a little bit better.
Definitely, that was a great answer, and for sure, I liked what you said. Is that you know a lot of people think that it's this evil industry, but in reality, it's a lifesaver. Like it saves lives. Like you see, like the benefits of oil and gas every day when you go outside or inside or do anything at all. So that's all the time we have. Thanks so much, Kamyar, for joining me. It was a great discussion. Um, I'm Justice, and I'm with SFC.
And I'm Kamyar. I'm with SFC.